Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding Motion. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about exercise failure and what is that. But first I want to say something. I want to say, those of you who have not tuned into the Patreon podcast, I have the link down below. You guys really should tune into it because I'm going to be doing regular stuff so you can take me with you everywhere you go. And if you don't go there, then at least buy one of my sticks, you know, at least. I brought this from home, okay? I didn't just find this here. So at least buy one of my sticks. They're only $49.95. I mean, really cheap right now. Pre-cognitive shipping, like I said, they're gonna be in your front yard immediately as soon as you click that order button. You can find them in your front yard or your local park. And then,
I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh crap.
I bought one of your pieces of crap and it's already in pieces.
I don't even know how this guy found me.
Now I know you're gonna give me my money back.
I think I'm gonna film in a new location. I gotta go.
Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding Motion. And today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about failure. What is positive muscular failure? Now, most people understand what this is. Most people, but not everybody. Because I was just talking to a guy in the comments today, and a super nice guy, comments all the time, really great supporter of the channel, but he's basically asking me about failure, and I was saying that if you hit failure, you hit failure. Like you can't do another rep. But he was saying, well, I guess different people have a different tolerance level to pain, therefore they're able to push deeper to failure, or failure means something different. So again, commenting is so limited, so that's why I like to make videos about stuff, because having these conversations with people is just so annoying in text form, because there's always, let's just say, misunderstandings that go on back and forth. But what I am going to say right now is that when you are bodybuilding, mainly, the foundation of what you're doing when you're bodybuilding is that you're training the physical body. Now, of course, there are mental and emotional aspects of bodybuilding, or let's just say there is willpower that you work, which is through the mind and that sort of thing. So that's how sports or pushing through pain can assist you in some sort of ego growth, and some people could argue spiritual growth at some point. Right? Because you can start to learn how to push past false pain in order to find out what true pain is, and then go beyond all of it and whatever. But without getting into all that kind of conversation, let's talk about this. When I speak about positive failure, or any other coach or any person who's training people, if they're speaking about positive failure when it comes down to weight training, they're saying that positive failure means that you hit as many reps as you can hit. Your physical body cannot do another positive rep. It cannot lift that weight one more time. That, in essence, is positive failure. Now, if it was just all subjective, like, oh, failure means something different for somebody else or whatever, then you wouldn't really be able to write up a program for anybody, because everybody would have a different definition of what failure is. So first you have to agree on what is failure. Now, that said, when you're going up into the higher rep ranges, one could argue, once you get to a certain level, that a lot of people very rarely are able to push past that intense burn and really hit positive failure. I noticed this once you get into the 20, 25, 30, 40 rep range, you know, it gets to be pretty intense, and there are very few people who are serious enough that want to push into that type of pain. But you're still not hitting failure if you choose to quit the set because it hurts too much. Do you understand? That's like the liberal form of training, and there's no place for that, really. I mean, otherwise coaches would take your feelings into account when they write up the programs. It's like, does it feel like a little uncomfortable, or show me on this doll where it hurts you inside when you do squats, right? You know, you wouldn't be assessing a training program like this. You wouldn't be writing this out. Positive failure has to do with not being able to push another rep. Now, if you are noticing that you have an aversion to this pain, the pain is really rough, I would say, yeah, you could quit the set when you're super uncomfortable. You push as much as you can into that limitation, but always know that your goal is to push further into that. As long as there's no bad pain, just, you know, the burn pain, your goal is to push into that as deep as possible. And of course, just by touching that discomfort over and over again, you are going to naturally be able to do more reps. You're naturally going to have a greater level of comfort in the discomfort. But only through touching it will you know. So at first, sometimes people have a tendency to believe their limitations. You understand what I'm saying? You're like, oh, that's uncomfortable. Oh, I guess I can't do that. I'm no good at that. That's the ego coming up. That's your aversion. You're trying to justify not pushing. What I'm saying is, as you just touch pain, and this is where it can become very spiritual, as you touch pain, the pain shifts to something else. And this is happening on the physical level with training.
Now I know you're gonna give me my money back.
Come on, man. Come on. Let's just calm down.
Go on, give me some money.
We can work this out. We can work it out.
Oh, well, that was pretty good. Guess I like this stick after all.
So as the samurais would say, cry in the dojo, laugh on the battlefield. It's the same thing. What you're doing is you're touching the archetype of discomfort itself on the physical body, and therefore when you walk about in life, you're going to have a greater level of comfort, a greater level of muscular strength. You're going to have better endurance. That burn will not be there quite so fast, or that fatigue when you start to lift weights in a certain rep range. So you're going to adapt. But at first it's normal for it to hurt like hell. That's just normal, especially in the higher rep ranges. Now, I don't usually get a super intense burn when it comes down to 10 reps or 15 reps or 20 reps. I notice that I get fatigue where I just can't lift the weight anymore when I'm using that type of rep range. Now, sure, breath comes into play where you're like, you know, straining and that sort of thing. But at the same time, muscular fatigue is usually what stops the set, where I just cannot contract anymore. The muscle just goes dead on me, right? So there are different types of failure, and I made a video about this. There's different forms of failure. You might want to watch that if you haven't watched that video. I have it in my library. I have like over 600 videos or something. So you guys should really peruse through all of them and watch them. You'll learn a lot from it. And that's really what I have to say about failure. That is what positive failure is. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Yeah, it's when you cannot do another rep. And that's why training high reps is not for the faint of heart, because going into that pain is something very few people can do. Very few people can do the Tom Platz thing, right? But you know, you get some pretty great muscle growth from it at times. So anyway, yeah, I hope this helps out in your training. Thanks a lot for watching, and make sure you sign up for my newsletter down below, and you tune in to my Patreon, because these patrons right here are what make it possible, and I'm doing a podcast specifically on Patreon for you guys. It's awesome. I'm having some positive feedback. So I think you guys will really like it. I go into long conversations about training, about what I do, what I have done, you know, my history of competing, and you know, all that stuff, little stories from competing and all that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, it's right on Patreon. So thanks a lot for watching. And if you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com. Mountain. Mountain. Natural Gallant.